the freshness of this episode can only be rivaled by one thing: the freshness of the meals delivered to your doorstep by HelloFresh. What's even better is that HelloFresh has a wide variety of easy, delicious options for all 3 meals a day, plus every snack and special treat in between. You will have tons of choices, and I promise you'll find something you enjoy. HelloFresh's ingredients are sourced directly from the growers. I wasn't kidding about the freshness of it's in their name, HelloFresh. And it's all delivered from the farm directly to your front door in under a week. Contact-free, of course, in case, you don't have the vaccine yet. I've been using HelloFresh now for a few months, and the amount of time it saved me is immeasurable. I am replacing about 3 meals a week now with HelloFresh, and that alone has saved me time and money at the grocery stores. And the end result meals are not only healthy and delicious, but oh my God, so satisfying. Go to HelloFresh.com/12chill and use code 12chill for 12 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/12chill and use code 12chill for that 12 free meals, which includes free shipping. Head over there and sign up for America's #1 meal kit. My little Chilluminati.
Why is this I don't like this, that when you're like, hey, go spend money on us, and then they come here and you're like, hey, baby.
You did the
I
right
hate
thing,
it.
baby.
I hate it.
You came to the right place.
You came to the right place.
I hope you've got headphones, because this one's moving slow.
Welcome, patrons, to Chill Mini 32 or something like that.
You don't even know. You don't even care.
I don't. It's like 32 or 33.
I think of it as 79. Is that weird?
Yeah, that's
I know we
weird.
haven't had 79, but it's like it goes with episode 79. Is that
It
weird?
does. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's weird. For some reason, it's weird. Why is it weird, Alex?
It's just, I don't know. I know there hasn't been 79 Chill Minis,
Yeah, true.
but I still think of it as Chill Mini 79. That's my filing system.
Well, I come with a couple alien-related things. I think I want to get that out of the way first, because it's a little bit of alien news kind of scattering across the internet in the past few days. Disclosure is ever present, everybody. Just remember that.
Real quick, the pylon's all bullshit now. Let's not talk about that anymore.
It is the
monolith?
monolith is literally just people putting it up places.
Yeah,
People are just fucking around.
I think it's far more interesting to look at human nature and the fact that one thing sparked all these people putting up copycats. And just like why humans do the things they do, right?
We're the
same
monkeys,
thing,
guys.
Yeah,
We're the
but I mean,
monkeys. Did you ever think about that? It's us.
It's the same thing with like, I saw an alien. Oh, I saw an alien too, right? I honestly believe that's the case. Humans like this thing.
Speaking of aliens, Jesse, have you heard about the news of some new photos that apparently exist? One has gotten released, though there's argument about what it might be, and I'm with them. I don't really know what we're looking at.
It looks
the other
compelling.
The one I retweeted?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other one is apparently a much closer shot of what is known as the typical black triangle UFO shape that is from a pilot's iPhone and can be described as unearthly, but the government will not actually release it. And this is coming from the same people who ended up getting the videos that were released in 2017. So there's an air of kind of credence to these claims because it's coming from somebody who already got some stuff released. Sure. And recently on the Joe Rogan podcast, Jacques Vallée and somebody else who created a documentary were doing an interview, and on there they made it basically an urge to get the photo released because it's more evidence that there's potentially something weird out there. Again, I would love to say it's aliens, I would, but all we can say is we don't know. We don't know what it is. The photo, Jesse, I don't know if you've seen the photo. I can get you the photo real quick.
Is this what you sent me before?
It's the thing in the DM that I sent.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like an upside down thing, like a bell, like an upside down bell shape. Sure. There is potential comparisons to a GPS balloon.
However, it doesn't really look like that, and it's missing the GPS part that hangs down from the bottom of it, so satellites can actually ping off of it. I don't know, though. Who knows? The other big news, UFO-wise, is that, now you can take this as however you want, but this came out in the Jewish press today. Former head of Israel's space program, the aliens asked not to be revealed because humanity is not ready yet.
I mean, I believe that. If there's anything I believe, it's that.
Honestly, I'm surprised you reacted that way because I would buy that as well. We all saw how we reacted when the coronavirus hit with toilet paper went away. So I don't know, man, just more like, again, it's annoying for some people like me who want more hard, like give me more stuff, but it's always like this trickle of like maybes.
Just tell us what else then. Tell us the whole story if you're going to say that the aliens are real and they told us we're not ready.
But if it's true that this former head of Israel's space program isn't lying, because a look into his past shows that he hasn't had a history of making up bizarre claims. But doesn't mean he's not now because he's retired and wants fame. But if that's true, that gives me a sense of relief because at least it means aliens don't want to decimate us right away.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd still like to, I just want to hear from him. Like, there's plenty of bullshit theories out there. What difference does it make? I'll be the one to decide whether or not you're lying. Just put it out there.
Yep. Well, it's exciting for me. That's all I got for alien stuff, man.
I want to interrupt you, Alex, before you start your story because I feel like that's the way to end.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is news, but this morning I just tried to find it, and all I could find was an article about it, which just shows you what the internet is like. This morning, I was doing I just woke up, I'm laying in bed, I might as well go scroll through some of the weird stuff on Reddit, and I saw a thing that was unpleasant.
Oh no.
It was a photo, a man, according to the story on Reddit, and I'll just read you what this news article says about it, just so someone who is better with the word can describe it. A man he posted on Reddit that he was in his flat. It was totally empty. And he heard some like strange noises coming from the kitchen. And he went there to kind of like see what was going on. And after hearing noises and taps, I took a photo. And this is what I saw. I'm just going to send you this.
I'm so excited.
Here's the thing. Everyone on Reddit was like, I don't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing there. And then people were like, scroll in. I'm just going to let you look at this. On his head? The link's there. Hopefully Mathis will include it.
I will do my best to remember. Okay.
In the door?
He's like, scroll in.
Yep. Up top, there's a head peeking around the corner. That's awful.
Yeah.
Oh,
terrifying.
That's the worst thing in the world.
Terrifying. Oh, I don't know what that is.
It looks like the little the Pillsbury Doughboy or
I would love another picture. My inner ghost hunter. So hey, I don't know if you boys know, I used to ghost hunt a lot in my late teens. I had a lot of gear.
Yeah.
But I would just like another picture at this exact angle because I just want to see if there's anything like a utility or like the front of his oven or something like that might be being blurred out and being paradelia'd into a face.
It looks like the baby from Dinosaurs.
Also, it feels like one of those things that it could be just Reddit and like
Somebody just went in with the fucking brush tool.
Yeah, but
that's spooky though.
Spooky looking.
I don't like it. I figured
I'd throw that out there. Hopefully you'll include the link. I'm
gonna try to remember.
I'm trying to find the original Reddit post. I honestly can't. I've been scrolling through Reddit for a while now, and I can't find it. I'm gonna
email Alex the link in the email when I send him the audio, just so I don't forget it.
Okay, perfect.
Well, Alex, you've got a story. This story was sent to me on my Instagram DMs from a follower and a fan. It's an interesting, fun story, I think.
And it's reputable, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So welcome to a fan story. Alex, take it away.
Yeah. This just gets right to it. So I'm just going to go right in.
Yeah.
Okay, let me set the scene. It was about 5 years ago. Me and my friends were all skate punks, just hanging out, smoking and drinking all the time, just to make the story a little less stale. So before I get more into the story, I want to just say that I was smoking a lot of weed at the time and drinking heavily. I was sober as a bullet in this story, but I just wanted to clarify a few things because I'm sure Jesse will pick this apart like a vulture on a carcass. Ha ha ha.
Yum,
anyway,
yum.
So there I am, walking to my friend's house, sober as hell and bored. His door is normally open, so I walk inside like I normally do. This is my view. A hallway with 2 rooms on the right and 1 on the left at the end of the hall. The first room is on the right. This is my friend's room. Well, I'm approaching this room and I just glance inside as I didn't hear anyone inside of it. So as I'm passing it, I look inside real quick and there's this spinning recliner as soon as you walk in, right? On the arm of this chair is a small, brown, naked creature holding a Coke bottle, which was empty.
Whoa!
It turned its head and looked at me with large, glowing orange eyes. This is like that scene in Mulholland Drive when he's telling that story of his dream at the Denny's, and then he goes outside and like sees the witch behind the dumpster, and he's just like, oh. That's this vibe. It looked very surprised. It even dropped the Coke bottle, and I heard it. As soon as it seen me, like 1.5 seconds, it disappeared immediately. I know how this sounds, but hear me out. I didn't even realize what I saw at first. It's very conversational. I thought it was the small chihuahua, so I leaped onto the chair, laughing and spinning, and then I was confused, so I looked under the bed. When I realized it wasn't a dog, I was about to panic. I began hyperventilating, so I said to myself, the dog must have ran out. So I run into my friend's parents' room and discover that all the dogs were in a closed room, along with my friend and his little brother. I tell him to come outside with me, and I break down crying, exclaiming he didn't understand what I had seen. I was really having a hard time. I mean, IDK anyone that wouldn't.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. What was messing me up was that I heard it out loud and didn't just imagine it. All I kept saying and repeating was, it wasn't a dog. It wasn't a dog. My friend was trying to calm me. That's what I would be talking about too. That's
Yeah, no,
that
right?
made,
It wasn't a dog.
honestly, I would be
dog.
like, why did he drink the Coke? Did he have the Coke? Did he like
Yeah, I know,
greedily
right?
drink the Coke first?
I imagine like a moment of just like ET almost, where you like there's like a moment and just like let the can go and he
Oh my
ripples from a
God. What the
distance.
fuck is the name of that movie? The McDonald's movie where the kid gets shot in the wheelchair. God damn it.
Oh,
What is it? McGee and Me or Me and
yeah, Mac and Me. It's just Mac and Me. Yeah, because he goes off the cliff.
The aliens, literally,
Yes.
The movie is so low budget that their mouths are permanently shaped like they're sucking up straws because they love Coke. And they like, it's like a brand deal for McDonald's, the whole movie. It's fucking
Like
crazy.
the Power Rangers and Krispy Kreme.
Yeah. Anyway, my friend was trying to calm me down. When I finally calmed down, he began to explain to me that weird stuff happened in his house a lot. It didn't help much, but it was somewhat comforting. I lost a lot of sleep over this. I had no idea what it possibly could have been, as I didn't know a damn thing about folklore almost at all, besides a little Harry Potter knowledge. But even still, you had no idea of the connection between Harry Potter nor brownies of any sort. You think that's a weed joke? Or maybe
No,
just talking about
he's getting
brownies?
ahead of-
Old school, like
brownie
gremlins.
gremlin type
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Yeah, he's getting ahead of himself, basically, I think.
I had never even heard of it. In other words, my mind didn't make this up based on something it had seen. So I finally decided to find out what it is. I had 2 friends with degrees in human psychology. Both are still good friends whom I can verify this with. One was atheist and a childhood friend, and the other an agnostic internet friend. That's everybody's internet friend, is that agnostic internet friend. The atheist was certain that my mind simply created something due to an effect of the mind causing me to hallucinate and my brain trying to comprehend the imagery. What? The atheist was certain that my mind simply created something due to an effect of the mind.
Yeah, it's called pareidolia, is I guess what he's talking about.
Like he
created, like he saw, like low light and his brain just like made something that looked familiar.
Okay, yeah, I understand that now. But the agnostic friend believed that I had seen it, but that also my mind created an alternative image. But with him, he believed that in order for that to happen, I had to see something so bizarre that my mind had to replace the image. So I wasn't satisfied with these answers, and I searched some tidbits of my experience in the YouTube search engine bar. This was my first lead, as it took me to a random ass video. I'm sure it can still be found with some extensive searching, but I've yet to find it again, about which a man was proclaiming his experience with something called a brownie and how it threw a bottle at his leg and that he could not look directly at it or it would disappear. So now I called it a brownie. From here, I had a bit of closure a few years until, again, it began to haunt me once more. Still not satisfied, I do even more searching and find that it is closer to that of a boggart, which I don't know what that is exactly.
We covered that in the Gnomes episode with Dodger for a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. I just don't know like how that becomes a boggart. I don't know. It sounds
I think
like
he'll explain.
Yeah. The scariest part that made my heart drop was that they were mainly in marshlands and this occurred in Louisiana. And I do even more searching with my new knowledge of the creature and discover that they love honey. In my mind, I think it was a boggart drinking the Coke. There was another time, sorry, quick rewind back a few years, when a box randomly flew out of the closet. My friends were so high and drunk, they just laughed. I was also very high and drunk, but I seen it clear as day and jumped to my feet and completely made sure nobody could do it themselves. It just flew out against the wall. I know this is hard to believe, but that's the story. I often think about that creature a lot and don't know what to make of it, but I just accept that I may never know. I will never forget the eyes and the look of shock as if saying, "You caught me." It will haunt me forever. That's my story. Ha ha ha. Crazy, ain't it?
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
believe
it
you
is
saw
fucking
boggart,
crazy.
Jesse? You believe in boggarts now, Jesse? I believe in them.
I know that they
The
like Coke.
spinning chair is the most fucked up thing. Like everything else, if you're like, oh, that's like what they do. You know, like, oh, they're brownies. They have a bottle. They throw the bottle. Fine.
They like honey.
But why was he on like a David Lynch armchair?
Yeah, I don't know.
That fucks me up.
Well, that's the episode of the mini, and that's it for us.
Delightful.
We get delightful story. I really enjoyed that story. He actually sent me like an image of it, but you can just look up a brownie and you can just kind of like look at the general image of what it looks like. But we did also go back and listen to the Gnome episode if you didn't, with Dodger as a special guest. We cover boggarts.
Learn
It's a
more
good
about
time.
boggarts
Learn
today
more about
on
boggarts.
Chilluminati Pod.
Exactly. Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you so much for your support over on Patreon. We wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, and we will see you next week.
Peace.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Peace.
With quarantine coming to an end, let's be honest with each other. We've let quarantine get to us a little bit. Whether it be just a general laziness or allowing yourself to fall into nasty habits, I'm sure you're not looking your best. Luckily, Hawthorne is here to help you. Hawthorne is a premium grooming brand that tailors your personal care routine to your unique profile. First, you head to their website and take their quiz. They ask me things like how often do I shower, how often do I shampoo, what type of hair I have, its length, and more. It was honestly really quick and easy. And for me, they gave me the Essentials bundle by the end, with all the products tailored to my body type and lifestyle. And the one I'm most excited for is the one that focuses on dry skin. I just moved across the country and I'm living in a wildly different climate right now, and my sensitive little skin is not doing so well and drying out way more than it used to. I'm really excited to kind of treat that with the kit coming in. Hawthorne takes the risk out of shopping for personal care by giving you free shipping on your order and returns. And if you don't like your products, they'll even retailer them for you based on your feedback. With high-quality self-care products tailored specifically to your needs from Hawthorne, looking your best has never been easier. Take Hawthorne's quiz today and get started on your personalized self-care routine by going to hawthorne.co and use promo code CHILL to get 10% off your first purchase. That's HAWTHORNE.co, promo code CHILL. Hawthorne.co, promo code CHILL.
Hello, my little Chilluminats.
Yo.
Welcome to the Chill Mini, episode 30 from here. Something like that.
What was that? I'm sorry. What was that number?
Something.
Episode 81. The Chill Mini.
The Chill Mini. Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. It's exciting to be back here. We've got some cool topics to talk about on the Chill Mini.
Historical things.
Very historical things. I'm just going to be at the top right quick, and we'll just get this out of the way, I think. We've been getting tweeted at. Everybody's been tweeting at me and telling me, hey, guy, Israeli man. Is there Israeli? So the story
Israeli
is,
man.
instead of just saying...
I don't think it's accurate. It is, but...
He's like the ex-space... Frick, what's the name of... What is his thing? Ex-space security officer or something. He's basically an ex-government worker in Israel that's coming forward and saying, hey, aliens exist. They've reached out to the U.S. government and the Israeli government. They're saying that humans are not ready to interact with aliens yet. We still have to understand spaceship and space travel. But the U.S. has astronauts on a secret base on Mars where they are talking with and interacting with aliens regularly.
Not even remotely true. Where do we launch the ships from? False.
I'm with you. The thing that's left out that seems to be like, I don't know why media is picking up on this. Like the end tagline is this dude wrote a book about all of this. Like that's his big thing. And he's like, at the end of everything, he's like, you can read more about it in my newly released book. So none of it sounds real. It's a bunch of trash. This guy is clearly hawking a bunch of garbage. Why would only the Israeli government and the U.S. government be in contact with the aliens?
Because they believe in the Bible.
Right. Oh, you're right.
And
you're right.
It relates to the Second Coming, Holy Land stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. You're correct. My bad.
Does it?
Come on.
No, I'm sorry.
Come on.
Does it though?
Regardless, that's all my story because I just wanted to bring it up and put it to rest because it wasn't enough. That's it. That's all I got. So, Alex, I know you got a fun one.
I do. It is insane. So literally the other day word came through that the Zodiac Killer, if you don't know who the Zodiac Killer is, he was this guy in like 1969, I think was the first year that it started. He was like killing people. Nobody knew who he was. He was like sort of like setting up the sort of like tropes of serial killers who followed him about like taunting the police. And there were others that did this, but he was really famous for it because he wrote these encoded messages and he had all these threats and, he swore that his identity was hidden inside the messages and only one of them was ever partially translated, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Until the other day, when one of the ciphers, which is called the 340 cipher, was actually fully decoded by a guy named David.
After all this time.
Yeah. A guy named David Orenchak, a software developer from Virginia, Jarl van Eyck, a Belgian computer programmer, and Sam Blake, an Australian mathematician. They discovered that the message was broken into 3 parts and then rearranged in a way where like once you untangled that, it was a lot easier to decode. They made a bunch of different reading paths through it and then fed those all into deciphering computers and like slowly put together the solution that way.
So cool. I did watch a little bit of the video, but it was too much for my brain.
The guy has a video if you're really interested in the ins and outs of how he actually solved it, but it's cryptography. It's really hard to like just sit and understand if you're not like really paying attention to it. But here is the message of the Zodiac Killer all those years ago. And it's a little disappointing because it was supposed to include his identity.
Yeah, they were hoping it was going to include this identity.
Yeah. He said it, didn't he? He said, if you solve it, you'll know who I am or something like that.
Did he say that about this last one?
But was it, this isn't,
I don't know if it's specific to, I don't know if it's specific to eat whatever cipher it is, but I know that there was some idea.
No, there's one more out there, but it's only so I think they talk about it in the video, but there's one more out there that can't be decrypted because it's only one line. And because of the way he encrypted this one, it's kind of random and they accidentally cracked it. I'm going to let Alex talk about it. But the last thing that we have is just like they're saying it's nearly impossible for them to figure out.
Yeah. Here's the message. It says, I hope you're having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show, which brings up a point about me. I'm not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise. Paradise is misspelled all the sooner because I now have enough slaves to work for me where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise. Paradise spelled wrong again. So they are afraid of death. I am not afraid because I know that my new life will be an easy one in paradise. Paradise misspelled again, death. When he says it's not him on the TV show, there was a very famous time when they had a guy come on to talk to the Zodiac and a guy called in and it was like this whole crazy thing on TV. He said that wasn't him. And they really did just like happen upon the solution. And they submitted it to the FBI a couple days ago. The FBI is not going to comment though, because obviously the Zodiac investigation is still going. It's an open case.
Mm-hmm. And he was never caught.
And yeah, nobody knows for sure who it was. Everybody has their favorite person. I think I know who mine is. I don't know. It feels weird to say who you think a murderer is, right?
Yeah.
I know who I think it is, and he has
one.
3 names. How about that? That way, if you know the case, you know who I think it is.
Okay. Well, there you go. It's still interesting. Like true crime is something
What's
I really
Ted
love.
Cruz's
in general.
middle name?
Lee.
Ted Lee Cruz.
Ted Lee is deadly
Ooh.
as the Zodiac Killer. Heyo.
You're already writing in ciphers. It might be you, Mathis.
That's why these people.
Maybe, yeah, it's me.
That's why these people
figured it
come
out.
to the patreon.com/Chilluminati pod is to get those sick takes. But yeah, I mean, I never thought that a Zodiac cipher was going to be solved in my lifetime. I'm a little bit underwhelmed, though it is cool. Like, I think most people assumed that it wasn't him on the TV show anyway. I don't know if that's even like new information that wasn't him. I think they like eventually figured out who that was.
Yeah. I can't remember. Yeah. Didn't he? Yeah. Cause I think the story is that guy ended up calling and like apologizing big time for like faking it or
Yeah,
something.
I don't remember exactly, but I don't know if that's new information, but it is interesting that that's where his head was at and stuff. And I don't know, like there's something romantic about solving an unsolved cipher from a serial killer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just thought it was really neat, and it's not necessarily the most paranormal mystery of all time, but the Zodiac is legendary. I feel like everybody knows the Zodiac, and I
hope we figure out who it is too at some point.
That's my dream, right? Like I've been almost like I've had the feeling to do a Zodiac episode a couple times, and I'm just sort of hoping that maybe they figure out who it is.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you got, Jesse?
All right, let's talk about, for those of you who are listening to this as part of a compilation.
Compilation.
This is from the
Expertly
episode where we
compiled.
talked about the crazy stuff the CIA was doing and mentioned sonic attacks. Well, recently, as in December 7th, 2020, the government just released a report about this happening to American CIA agents. I mean, over the past 20 some years, if not longer.
I almost want to do a whole episode on it because it's so like weird.
Yeah, it's the so-called Havana Syndrome, which was this mysterious affliction that first cropped up among American CIA officers in the Cuban embassy in 2016. And they basically had fatigue and chronic headaches, and some had long-term brain problems, the inability to stand, like just crazy things. If you want to really get into it, the best thing you can do is NBC News had an interview with Mark Palmeropoulos, who was a CIA counterintelligence agent, I believe, or maybe just a normal CIA agent. And he was stationed around the world, and he has all sorts of things that he talks about in this. And he's suffering from long-term problems because of it. Anyway, and he gives a full interview. He talks about it. But to summarize what the government found, basically, mysterious head injuries suffered by U.S. diplomatic staff in China and Cuba that have been described as sonic attacks are consistent with the use of directed microwave energy, according to a report published Saturday by the National Academy of Sciences. Overall, directed pulse RF radio frequency energy, especially in those with the distinct early manifestations, appear to be the most plausible mechanism in explaining these cases among those that the committee considered. And this is all those people that reported, hey, something's wrong with me. The report added that it considered possible incidents of persistent, dizziness and other things happening to these people were coming from some other contributing factor. But basically, what they concluded is that the use of directed microwave energy is what caused all this. Although they cannot say, and this is probably for very political reasons, they cannot say if it was done deliberately. They won't say that. But
it's too much to accuse somebody of doing something so against.
Yes.
Like it would be such a war crime to do it that you can't just say that about another country.
But what they did add is the mere consideration of such a scenario raises grave concerns about the world with disinhibited, malevolent actors and new tools for causing harm to others, as if the U.S. government does not have its hands full already with naturally occurring threats. The report said that it considered chemical exposures, infectious diseases, and psychological issues as potential causes or aggravating factors of the injuries, but the overall analysis appeared to show they were not the likely cause. So it is, according to the study, these dudes were blasted with microwave energy, and it's strange that it was focused, targeted CIA members, and not like...
Dude, it's obviously spy versus spy stuff. It's
absolutely.
Obviously,
yeah.
Yep.
like if you really want a good like sort of like deep cut look at this, there's a podcast called What Really Happened by Andrew Jenks. That's really good. That does like, he takes like something that people are talking about, or that's like a sort of a bigger sort of, a lot of people know the story and then they go deeper into it. Like in the same season, it's not just like government shit. It's like he looked into what happened with John Carter and did like execs at Disney kill the movie John Carter. He looks into what happened with Dave Chappelle walking away from his show. He looks into Balloon Boy, you know.
Sure.
Cool.
He does one called The Secret Sonic War. It's episode 2 of season 2 of What Really Happened. And it's a nice chunky, and he's like a documentarian. He knows what he's doing. So it's worth checking out if that's that's interesting to you.
Yeah. But
It is fascinating.
this is one of those times where a thing that a lot of people thought was sort of, who knows, seems conspiracy-y, but because there's a little bit of, you know, factoid to it, who knows? And the government has confirmed, like, yeah, they were blasting each other with sonic attacks and microwave technology, and we can't say who did it. We're not naming names, but it definitely happened, and we know you did it, which is an interesting, you know.
Yeah, to kind of just insinuate rather. You're like, we know. So
And the thing is, we do that all the time with hacking now currently, where it's the idea that even recently with Russia and the hacking they just did.
Yep.
Like
They did a huge hack, like the biggest hack they've ever done.
Massive hack. Yeah. And we know exactly how it was done. And the reason why they say all that stuff publicly is it's like, hey, everyone,
Stop it.
we know, but also cut that shit out or we will hit you back. And then we hit them back anyway.
yes,
we don't even know about that shit.
Yeah. What a cherry on top of a minisode for our MK Ultra minisode. Damn. I'm gonna post MK Ultra one.
Yeah, it's
good times, y'all.
Interesting that it happened right now.
It is. It is nuts.
Thank you for the money, folks.
Thank you for the money. Yeah. Thank you for the support. What is it? Thanks for the money, suckers. Is what you used to say.
Don't say stuff.
Thanks for letting us trick you so well.
Yeah,
gotcha.
we got you, MK Chilluminati.
All you got was this sick ass episode in return for your money.
Thanks. Thank you guys so much. We will see you next week.
I love you guys. Thank you. Bye.
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 I'm watching you through my demographics. I kind of know who listens to the show. And because of that, I know that most of you are almost always looking at your computer screens, whether for work or gaming. Look, I'm the same way. There's nothing wrong with that. Now more than ever, we're always using something digital in front of us. And whether you're an avid news watcher or in serious need of distractions with gaming, let's be honest, unplugging now is easier said than done. One of my favorite ways to rest my eyes for the stuff that I love is by slipping in my sick Raycon E25 wireless earbuds and listening to something great, like a podcast about weird things called Chilluminati. There's no dangling wires or stems to get in your way here. Raycons come in a range of stylish colors, but always with a comfortable in-ear fit for a more discreet look. Raycons are built to perform anywhere and anytime with water and sweat resistant construction and Bluetooth that pairs quickly and seamlessly. And with enough battery life for 6 hours of playtime, you can unplug for a while. And the best part is Raycon makes great sound accessible to everyone with wireless earbuds starting at half the price of other premium audio brands. Raycon's offering 15% off all of their products for our listeners, and here's what you've got to do to get it. Go to buyraycon.com/CP. That's it. You'll get 15% off your entire Raycon order, so feel free to grab a pair and a spare. That's right. 15% off at buyraycon.com/CP. Buyraycon.com/CP.
Hello, my little Chilluminauts.
Still not okay.
Look at us.
Still not okay with this.
Still here. And you're still paying us for this.
Look how tiny
don't
this
do, not
episode
like
is.
this.
It's so mini. Alex.
it's
Whoa. It's an average sized episode from what I've been told.
It's an average size mini. Like,
It's not about the size of the episode. It's about the punch it
they're
packs.
always smaller than
okay?
you think they're going to be. Like, you think back to your childhood and you see one that's like, average size and you're like, wow, that's really big. And then you compare it to, it's like
But
when you
then
go back to
listen the
preschool.
episode. Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
It's when you go back to preschool and you see how small the chairs are. It's a similar.
right.
It's a similar.
Got it. Is that where we're going with that? All right. Fantastic. I don't know what any of you freaking idiots brought, so I brought a story.
Okay.
I brought some nice stuff, so we'll save mine for last.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you know what Balloon Boy is, Mathis? We were talking about this earlier and it sounded like you didn't know what it was.
It doesn't ring any bells immediately.
Okay. So in 2009, I was in college at the time it was like in October. So it was like just after school had started. I remember
I got
being in
stuck
my,
in a balloon.
I just remember watching, I remember watching CNN and there was this like crazy story going on. It looked like, I thought it was a flying saucer story at first. But basically what the story was there's like a weather balloon like flying around in the air over this house. This like big silver weather balloon. And Richard and Mayumi Heaney or whatever it was were like, our 6-year-old boy is in there. Our 6-year-old boy is in the balloon. Help.
I do remember this.
Yeah. And it became,
oh my God, yes.
It became this like crazy like deal. It became this like huge situation. It was like the news, the authorities, like everybody was like
China,
just like reporting on it, taking time. And it turned out that he like wasn't in the balloon. And there was like something about, because the kid's name is Falcon. And this is probably one of the most famous like wacky news stories in the entire history of Colorado, right? And it floated 50 miles. Everybody was like following it. They were waiting for Falcon to come out. Falcon! But when they find Falcon, he's in the attic and he comes down, and in a TV interview, they were like, they said to do it for the show. My parents told me to do it for the show. And so they got put on blast basically. And they admitted that it was a hoax, and they like served they served a sentence, minor sentence, but as you heard maybe last week, Trump was doing a bunch of pardons, and also the governor of Colorado was doing some pardons, a man named Jared Polis, and he decided he granted clemency to like 20 other people for like drug charges and white collar crimes where people are like in jail for like an insane amount of time. And then he pardoned the parents of Balloon Boy.
Honestly, probably about time.
Yeah. And especially, a lot of the other inmates that he like pardoned were people who were like, people who were like at risk for COVID, but they were like in jail, stuff like that. But so they pleaded guilty back in the day, and that was how it shook out. But in the years after that, they like flipped the script on it and started to say, no. We thought he was up there the whole time. We really did, but we didn't want to go away from what the authorities were saying because Mayumi is Japanese and they didn't want her to like get deported.
What?
So they said yes when they were pressured to say it was a hoax because they were saying that they dangled his wife's citizenship like over their head when they were
this sounds not true.
But according to their lawyer who represents them, he helped them apply for the pardon a year ago. They hadn't heard anything for a year. And then all of a sudden, bam, they're pardoned, right? And so 11 years later, in 2020, he was quoted as saying, "The balloonacy has ended."
Oh my God.
And just to check in with everybody, just so you know how everybody's doing, Falcon looks weirdly the same as he did when he was 6, if you look him up. And him and his wife feel like now that this is behind them, now that he doesn't have a felony on his record, he can vote again. And he wants to get on Shark Tank is his current.
Oh my God.
Is his current new goal. He has not given up on becoming a reality show contestant, which is what he tried to do with Balloon Boy too. He said,
God.
This is like a new launch.
Oh my God.
You know, in one of those weird
language,
situations.
brother. Like, come on. You just got out of prison.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's some weird shit, man. It's
fame. It seems like they just desperately want to be famous.
It's like somebody who has like watched and been exposed to media like as it is now and has mistaken their personal identity with a brand. You know what I mean?
Every video game consumer out there?
Every video game content creator out there? Us?
Yeah,
ourselves?
buddy. Hell yes, that's right. Well, I'm glad to hear the family's all right.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have brought it up, but I just love that there's like a little bit of a mystery around it. Like about really, I'm waiting for that podcast to come out where it's like somebody does like some crazy investigation into it and they're like, it really wasn't a hoax. They really did think he was up there. I like want that. I want that mystery to be like delved into.
Sounds like a job for you, Alex.
I wish I had the resources.
Well, thanks to the people here on Chilluminati Patreon, we're getting there.
What a wonderful website.
I have a story from listeners. This comes actually from the Patreon Discord specifically. We have a room for sharing your stories.
I love that.
This one comes from our moderator as well.
We have a room for sharing your stories.
Stories, good time. Hi, I'm Courier, and I'm a mod for the Chilluminati Discord. What follows is a story that requires some context about me as a person, which is why I've chosen to make this not anonymous. It's totally okay to use this in the podcast, as I think it's a little different from some of the stories you might have had so far.
Brave.
From an early age, I've practiced meditation. I began when I was about 13. I went to a Catholic school in Ireland, which is mostly a secular state. As such, we were in a weird middle ground where we had a religion class, but it featured all sorts of religions, not just Christianity. I got that too. I went to a Christian high school, but senior year, we did world religions.
So
we
did
explored
I.
There you go. Wow. We explored Judaism, Islam, Hindi, and Buddhism. For a fairly white and suburban area, my school was actually fairly diverse. We had students from Syria, Lebanon, India, and Pakistan, Nigeria, and other Central African countries, as well as from England and the rest of the United Kingdom. Combined with a religious education teacher who was quite open-minded, a lot of our classes were non-denominational and about mindfulness and spirituality, hence meditation. As I got older, I became more and more practiced at meditation. I studied Tai Chi and Sun style, which is generally considered more like martial arts physical therapy than a fighting style, and is quite physically soothing. The funny thing about meditation is, to use gaming terminology, its difficulty curve is very sharp. It's hard to learn how to do it at first, but it becomes progressively easier. Most who have been meditating and practicing meditation for a few years find slipping into the meditative state easy, if not something that can be done at will. Especially for someone like me who suffers terrible anxiety in large crowds, it's an invaluable life skill. I first became interested in trance states when I was 16. I had begun to read somewhat spotty accounts of what meditation could lead to: astral projection, recalling past lives, contacting the dead, all sorts of stuff. I didn't really believe in much of it at the time. I thought from a scientific standpoint, and still do, holding a bachelor's degree in science, the effect the mind can have on the body is incredible. Excluding any supernatural, the placebo effect is real. It's often mischaracterized as your body by being tricked into believing it's getting real medicine, but the truth is far from that.
Shout outs to everybody in 2020 who's thinks they have a fake virus thinks they have a real virus when they don't. I feel you.
Yeah. Your body is responding to your brain's belief that it should get better by getting better. Contacting your past lives or astral projecting, exploring the world or other worlds seemed like pure fiction, stuff peddled in New Age books by charlatans. To get past the context and into the story, one night when I was 19, I decided to try one of these trance states. It's important to note that at this time, I was not drinking or taking any drugs, nor had I taken any drugs since I left high school a year earlier. just in case Jesse is wondering.
I was wondering.
I lit incense and candles and began to meditate like I always did. Deep breathing and purging my thoughts for about 20 minutes, letting strands of thought drift into my mind, but never latching on to disturb the peace. Then, as suggested, I, quote, looked up. It's hard to describe what this felt like at the time, as no physical part of me was moving. It was as if a massive pressure had built upon my forehead through the strain of looking upwards. The more I willed to look up, the more a pull on my forehead I felt.
Okay, real quick though, but had you been to a magic show recently? Close-up magic.
Right. Sleight of hand.
Yeah.
Did anybody
Anything
fire
like
a
that?
pill into the back of your throat?
Did anybody make you remember a card?
It continued until it seemed to plateau. I tried for it seemed like an hour, but was probably much shorter before giving up. Determined to see if there was anything to this, I tried again the next night, and the night after that. Again, I plateaued. The feeling in my forehead was almost familiar now. The feeling in my forehead was almost familiar now while meditating, even though I had never felt it before. It wasn't a headache or a muscle cramp around the temples. It was as if there was a weight pressing just above the center of my eyebrows that grew heavier and heavier until reaching a plateau. I don't know how many days I kept at that plateau, but I do remember the days, like trying to get through it, not actually sitting there for days.
Yeah. Right.
Going back into Cerebro each day at 4 p.m.
Right, yeah.
right. He's got a train.
I don't know how many. Exactly. I don't know how many days I kept at that plateau, but I do remember the Friday I broke through. As I had every night, I sat on my bed with the window open to cool summer nighttime air. I was pushing against the plateau, trying to lean into the pressure and, quote, look up as hard as I could. As if surfacing from underneath a current, I saw a forest around me. It's hard to describe what it felt like to see something knowing my eyes were firmly shut, but I could feel grass beneath my feet and the moisture of the dew. The sun or a sun was on my face. I stepped over tree roots covered in moss and felt the bark on my hands. I was right there. I couldn't only see it and feel it, I could smell it. I could hear the winds in the leaves and the branches, and then to my horror, I saw someone else. I don't know why I was afraid and still don't. She had auburn hair that reached down to her waist and was wearing a white gown. She stood amongst a grove of young trees. I only glanced her from a distance and immediately tried to pull myself out of the trance. I was scared for my life. The next few days were a mess of trying to separate reality from dreams and memories. It took me about 2 weeks before I could trust my brain not to slip into the trance state I had pushed myself into for days and days. I'm not sure if this is truly supernatural or just a weird trick of the mind, but I'm completely convinced that what I encountered was a fairy. And if I hadn't turned away when I did, I would have never recovered my mind or my life. In Irish mythology, fairies are not sprites that cause mischief or Tinkerbells that aid a protagonist, but otherworldly creatures that steal children and men away from their families, and those that escape are never the same.
Huh.
The best part about this story is I'm not going to give away the game because this is like a fraction of it, but there's a game that came out a few years ago. And one of the like subplots is this guy believes that he has an extra hour in the day where everyone either disappears or stands still, but he has an hour where he can do whatever. He has like a 13th hour. And so he lives this crazy life in his 13th hour and he gets to do all these things and gets to get away with all sorts of crazy shit. But at a certain point, he recognizes that there's someone else there with him. And every time he like sees this person, they keep trying to get closer and he like freaks out. And it's that part of the story that I'm like, oh, that's so messed up. Right.
Yeah,
Because
so
imagine
creepy.
you think you're like, oh, I have this amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's someone else there and they've just been watching you the entire time. And it's, it's this 13th hour. You can get away with anything you want. And there's always just someone watching you. And now they're trying to get closer to you. That part of this story, I was like, oh, that's so scary.
It's good.
There's a Doctor
It's some good
Who
stuff.
Christmas special a couple years ago where it's like kind of like Inception, except they all have like face huggers on their face, basically.
Sure.
Oh God.
And when they're in the face hugger, it like gives them good dreams while it eats their brain. And they all end up at this like research facility. But they're all just people from all over the earth who happen to be attacked by these things at the same time, like all in one shared space together. Mm-hmm. And their subconscious teams up to free them by imagining Santa Claus is also there with them. And then he's like a badass.
Well,
It's so good.
That's true, though. That is true. Santa is a badass.
And he's with us at all times. He's there for you.
He is.
Yeah. If you play Final Fantasy 14, there's an entire zone in the newest expansion that is about modern, like Irish fairies, if that's the proper way of describing them. Yeah. And they turn people into bushes. So, I mean, that's a thing. They're like, oh, what? And they talk like this, like, oh, we're in your dreams.
I mean,
and they turn you into big bushes.
As long as it's a bush, like that's not that fucked up.
Mrs. Doubtfire is just turning me into a bush.
If I have to get turned into something, I'll take a bush.
Yeah, and they're all like happy looking bush people.
Maybe
They're
that's
like
how Christianity
made
got started. Maybe maybe the burning bush was just like somebody got bopped by a fairy.
Oh, I've been bopped by a fairy.
It's the
I have 10 rules for
it's the BCU. It's the Bible. It's the Bible Cinematic Universe.
That's excellent.
Chilluminati is now a part of the BCU.
Hell yeah, we did it.
Well,
We made it.
before we wrap this year up, I figure, it's been rough. It's been a rough one. But I
Last
wanted to
Chillmini of the year.
Yeah, I wanted to give everyone 6 pretty badass things that happened this year in the world of science.
I like
so
that.
you all have sort of a, you know what? Look, things are looking up, kids.
I like
All
that.
right. 6 things. Here we go. And they're all over the place. Some are things you'd be like, oh, that's interesting. And some would be like, oh, is this just for Mathis? The first one. Scientists this year spotted traces of phosphine in Venus's clouds being produced in quantities that they really, it only suggests that something is creating it. Here on Earth, for example, it can be anything from microbes to the industrial process that produces phosphine. And so something on Venus is causing this gas to appear in the clouds, which is huge and interesting news.
Because that could mean, right? I think I remember reading that, like that the microbes are in like a layer between like the atmosphere and like whatever the surface is. They're somewhere maybe up there doing some sort of chemical reaction.
But whatever, at the bare minimum, it means there's life on Venus. At the bare minimum.
So cool.
Yeah. Number 2, we're still discovering things inside the human body. Turns out this year, we discovered that in our neck is a thing they're calling the tubarial gland, which is like a salivary gland that's like in like the back of your neck, almost right to where your spine is.
Okay.
And apparently they detected it using the machine that detects prostate cancer. I assume they just angled it up.
It just kept going.
Yeah, like what
Just
else
kept
is up
going all the
there?
way up.
Yeah, and so they discovered an entirely new gland in our body.
Huh. That's surprising that we still haven't found everything, seeing that we've done many autopsies.
It is one of those places that, according to the article, it was saying that the surgery, like when we mess around with our bodies through surgeries and stuff, it's an area that we don't often cut open and look in. So a lot of the times, many things in our bodies we just assume are like, oh, that's just flesh or a meaty area. But turned out it's a gland. So that's
It's like it's
cool.
like when you look at like how Americans cut up chicken for like KFC and there's like 6 pieces or something. And then you look at like a Japanese yakitori of a chicken and there's like 3 times as many different. I don't know if it's 3 times, but they just have a lot more fidelity on that chicken's pieces and what they do and how they are.
Yeah.
Can always go deeper.
Number 3. We have the first blood test this year to find the sample blood biomarkers for Alzheimer's. And it became available in October, which is huge.
That is huge. Yeah.
And moving forward in the future, that can be used on younger and younger people to detect earlier and earlier signs of you having it, the potential for it to be something you'll deal with in the future. And getting started on that early is...
Yeah. That's great.
Number 4, this is a big one for you, Mathis. This is specifically for you. The mysterious Moa. I'm not sure how to say that.
The Easter Island statues?
No, not those. This was an interstellar object that passed Earth 2 years ago. It was cigar shaped. And many thought it was super weird because as it passed by, it appeared to be accelerating as if being propelled by something. And scientists were like, look, guys, it's probably not aliens. We'll run a few studies and we'll see what's going on. Well, after running a few studies, scientists got back this year and they said, look, turns out one of our theories that it's being propelled by hydrogen, not at all true. Could not be happening. So it still could possibly be aliens. There you
I'm
go.
telling you, dude, they're here. They're here. Speaking of tangent, TTA, the Two to Stars Academy, is falling apart. Did anybody see this? Anybody catch this?
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Luis Elizondo, and a lot of the people who come from the government aspect where they were pushing for declassification are now leaving to the Stars Academy, saying it's clear to the Stars Academy's interest is in entertainment and like TV and stuff. That's not what we're interested in doing. We're going to go and they're going to go start their own thing now. Where they're just going to try and keep pushing more.
I wonder what the real situation is, because that guy, what's that guy's name again?
Tom DeLonge or Luis Elizondo?
Elizondo. That guy just seems like he has the energy of somebody who's trying to trick people.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
I
but the
agree
thing
with
is,
that.
that's the worst part about it. Not to tangent off of it too
Right.
bad, but everything that he claimed ended up being real.
That's
like
true.
a lot of things he was.
That's true.
That's the problem. Like he has this air of like a schmuck, like snake oil salesman. But everything he claimed, he was like one of the driving forces in getting those videos released. Like, I don't know. It's hard. Anyway, Jesse, cigar-shaped aliens are visiting. Got it.
Yeah. They said, scientists said it's not hydrogen,
That's cool.
but
I think it's Matthew
Do they have a
McConaughey.
main theory?
well, they had numerous theories and they tried to test them.
They're just trying to
and
whittle them down.
They have no real answers, except the one thing they do know is it's not hydrogen propelled.
I think it's man-made. I think it's from the future. I think it's like some crazy interstellar shit.
Yeah, it's a giant cigar-shaped shit. And they're like, it's just weird that it's that shape and is flying through the universe. Okay.
Looks aerodynamic.
Yeah. Number 5, neuroscientists. This one's cute, so I had to throw it in. Neuroscientists at the Max Planck. I assume that's how you say that. PANCK, Max Planck. Who knows? Institute of Neurobiology used machine learning to get AI to identify if a mouse is happy or sad.
Okay.
And if you're wondering why does that matter, because that's just a few short steps away from AI being able to tell whether we're happy or sad.
That's kind of scary, to be honest.
I think I can't wait.
That's the type of
For
technology that I
robots.
believe might be farther along than we think it is.
That's what I'm
Government has
saying.
a bunch of stuff.
I
like that,
can't
sure.
wait for one welcome our robot overlords.
How many
we are-
coincidences do you have where you talk about something and then you see an ad for it?
Oh God. I was literally noting it like 2 days ago because I was talking about something and then I saw it online. I'm like,
It's like
I didn't.
it's almost getting to the point where you talk about the thing and then they skip marketing the thing to you and market.
Hang on. We're running a test right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to just say a bunch of penis enlarging pills, penis enlarging
What?
pills,
Wait,
penis
what?
enlarging pills. I
What?
need them, internet. Show me them
You
online.
need them?
Ads for penis enlargement pills.
What
Thank
is
you.
happening? Why is
Are you
what-
good? Are
I'm
you
testing.
all right?
I'm testing the internet.
All right.
Will I now get ads simply from saying it out loud?
Let
Or
us
like
know.
extends or
Check
something.
in with us. Check in with us on the
Where do you think
subreddit.
people are watching this? Pornhub?
They're playing it on their
Listen,
TVs.
my camera, my microphone's all online. The CIA and the FBI
playing it in their
listening right
smart
now, man.
cars. Their cell
Amazon
phones
is-
can hear this.
Exactly. I'm saying.
Haven't you played SOCOM Navy SEALs for PS2?
Right.
They're listening to us, man. The computers can
happening right
understand us.
All right. And lastly, the compound that activates the enzyme capable of suppressing tumors was discovered by a team at the University of Michigan. They're now using this to come up with ways to fight cancer.
Just general
Hell yes.
tumors?
Just general
That
tumors.
is like, that sounds like panacea. That sounds like amazing.
Yeah,
does sound great.
they now need to figure out how to like focus it, right? Like they know how to like that it exists and it will suppress tumors and like kill those
Just
bad
make an
boys
app.
off.
It'll be done in fucking 2 days. Some fucking dudes, like whenever they need to do a CAPTCHA on Amazon, they just slightly sequence it a little bit or whatever. Come on.
Now they're trying to come up with a way to target it, and I think it's pretty swell. So there you go. 6 great things that happened in 2020 and a year
Love
that
it.
was pretty trash.
Love
There's
that.
some pretty fun things.
Love
Except
that.
for all of you guys and allowing us to make Chilluminati in 2020
Yeah.
the saving grace of my year. Thank you guys so much for another year of
And
Chilluminati.
now penis pills. You're going to do it,
Now
buddy. I
will
believe
let
in you.
I will let you all know my very scientific experiment.
Mathis
how
What do
it
needs
you
some
goes.
want
guys.
from this, though? What are you trying to
To
get
see
out
if
of
I
it?
get ads that just pop up.
He wants pop-ups of penis enlargement pills
Because
because
Alex is like, do you not realize you get a lot of personalized ads from the just like things
Well,
listening
now
to
he
you?
at least
that
doesn't
your
have to Google it.
personalized ad?
at
because
least he doesn't have
that-
to Google it.
Right, like that. Like now, maybe we'll see if my technology is listening to me, And it'll be very obvious if I get an ad for that. I won't miss it.
All that is like when you hear a song on the radio, like I was just thinking about this song. Are you sure it's not like a subconscious
I've never seen
thing?
ads for dick enlargement pills though. So
My music is too cool to hear on the radio, Jesse.
That's
my dick is
true.
No, my dick is too big for dick enlargement pills. So I'll know that the algorithm was listening.
What
if I
is
get ads.
happening right now?
That's it. It's Christmas, baby. Merry Christmas. No, that's it for us, everybody.
Get us
We gotta
outta
go.
here.
We gotta go into 2020.
Thank you
We'll
for
see
the money.
in 20. Yeah, thank you for your money, bitches.
2021.
We'll see you 2021, the year that might not be as bad as 2020.
The year that
Goodbye.
everything went back to normal, right?
Yep,
That's how
totally
it is. Leave the
normal.
right in the titles. Yeah.
Anyway, me and my wife were sitting outside indulging on our porch one night, enjoying ourselves. I needed to go to the bathroom, so I stepped back inside, and after a few moments, I hear my wife go, "Holy shit, get out here." So I quickly dash back outside, and she's looking up at the sky in awe. I look up too, and there's a perfect line of dozen lights traveling across the sky.